So, were you able to confirm that there was an active trespass notice involving Yasmin Marin?
Yes, ma'am, I did. I did look it up. I don't remember the day exactly, but I did look it up on my system after, and I saw that she had been trespassed by Officer Justice Velasquez.
All right. And so were you able to locate Miss Marin on that property?
Yes, ma'am, I did locate her in the property. At the back of the house, they have a basement, and she was in the basement.
All right. Did you at any point see Mr. Nino?
Yes, ma'am. He was in the basement as well.
During your, I guess, interactions with the two of them, did you have much communication with Mr. Nino?
We did speak. I didn't speak directly to him. I was more trying to get Yasmin to come up so I could speak with her out of the basement. Then when I went down into the basement, he was still standing there talking, but I was mainly talking to her. I didn't really have a one-on-one conversation with him.
Okay. So, as far as Miss Marin is concerned, then, what was your initial interaction with her once you realized she was in the basement?
I asked her to come upstairs. Um, she did not want to come upstairs. I gave her about 5 minutes, and after about that, I went downstairs. She was sitting on the bed on her phone, and I told her multiple times to put the phone down, to come with me, to stand up, and she didn't want to. At first she didn't want to. She kind of, pulled away from me when I went to grab her, and she was telling me, "Hold on, hold on," and I told her that I've held on long enough. So I did grab her by the arm and lift her up from the bed, and then started escorting her upstairs.
Now, when she did that, did she tell you anything that, I guess was a concern for her?
She did tell me that she was pregnant, and that's why I cuffed her in the front. But she did tell me she was pregnant at the time, and she was just crying and crying. I guess her and Jeffrey were arguing back and forth, and she was crying.
Okay. Um, I mean, ultimately, did she end up complying with your efforts to get her to leave the home?
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. She did
And
get up and.
I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Oh,
So
no,
she,
no, yeah, yes, ma'am. She did get up, and she she did follow my commands and go up the stairs, and then I put her in the back of my police unit without any further incident.
and so, you put her in the police car. Was she arrested on that day?
Yes, she was arrested. She was placed under arrest for criminal trespass.
Okay. And have you had any involvement with either of the parents since this happened?
No, ma'am, I have not.
I'll pass the witness, Judge.
All right, Ms. Molnax.
Officer Enriquez, the only charge that Ms. Marin had was the criminal trespass and nothing else?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
That's the witness.
Mr. Saint.
No questions, Judge.
Ms. Naranjo.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, if nothing further, can Officer Enriquez be dismissed?
Yes,
Okay.
Judge, please.
All right,
Yes, Judge.
Officer Enriquez, thank you for your testimony. Thank you for your service. I'll remove you so you can go about your day's business.
All right, thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir. All right, Ms. Wildman, next witness.
Do we have Jennifer Bryan in the waiting room, Judge?
No, ma'am. We've got Patricia McLean, Pamela Pierce, Jennifer Bryan, and Lois Ricks.
All right, Jennifer Bryan would be who I would call next.
Okay. Ms. Bryan, this is Judge Graham. If you'd unmute, please. Ms. Bryan, if you can hear me, if you'd unmute. If you're on a phone, you can hit *6.
Sorry, I was trying to find the button.
Okay, all right. Thank you, ma'am. If you'd raise your right hand, you swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I'm trying to put my video on.
Did you hear me, Ms. Bryan?
Yeah, sorry. Yes.
You swear to tell the truth?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Wildman, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. And Ms. Bryan, just real briefly, how are you currently employed?
I'm a parent support worker, sorry, St. Francis Ministries.
And just generally, what does a family support worker do?
I visit excuse me, parents, and I help them with services or transport them or make contact with them to help them out.
And fairly recently, maybe within the last 3 months or so, had you been called to assist in the case involving Jeffrey Nino and Yasmin Marin?
Yes.
And what were you asked to assist with?
Michelle Slagle asked if I could go pick him up and take him to do a DNA testing in Amarillo.
And do you know how many times you attempted to go up there and locate Mr. Nino and transport him?
I was only asked to do it one time.
Okay. Did you have any contact with Mr. Nino or Miss Marin in trying to facilitate that?
I went to the house, the address that gave me, and there was like, I could hear TV going, the door was open, and I knocked and knocked and nobody answered. And Michelle had called me, so I called her back and she told me to call him and that they wanted to meet at Allsup's instead because he was staying with a friend. So I went to Allsup's and I told him, I had texted him before I got to his house and told him I was almost there. And then he said, okay, on my way. So I waited and I waited and I waited and I called and no answer. And then he texted me back and said, I'm close. I'm like, okay. So I waited and I called Michelle. I probably waited about 25 minutes and he never answered me again.
Did you ever locate him at that Allsup's?
No.
And do you recall the day or about the day time frame in which you tried to go up there to find him?
I don't remember the specific day, but it was noon. I was supposed to pick him up at his house at noon and I got there probably about 5 minutes till noon.
Okay. And did you ever make any sort of successful contact with Mr. Nino after trying to locate him at the Allsup's?
No, he never answered me again.
And did you again have any contact with Miss Marin?
I never really talked to her. It was just him.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Judge.
All right, Ms. Mulnex,
No questions.
Mr. Saint,
No questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Naranjo.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, can Ms. Bryan be excused?
Yes, please, Judge.
No objection.
All right, Ms. Bryan, I'll release you so you can go back to your day's business. Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. All right, next witness.
The department would call Lois Ricks.
Okay. Ms. Ricks, this is Judge Graham. If you'd unmute, please. All right, thank you, ma'am. Can you hear me?
I can.
All right, thank you. If you'd raise your right hand, you swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Wildman, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Ricks, how are you currently employed?
I work for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services.
What do you do for them?
I am a family-based safety services worker.
Now, have you ever been involved in a case involving a Yasmin Marin?
I have.
And about when were you involved with Miss Marin?
I actually was assigned as a courtesy worker to see Miss Marin's older son, Damien, back in October of 2024, where he was placed with the maternal aunt, Valeria.
And Damien, to be clear, is Miss Marin's older son, correct?
Correct.
And so the family-based case that you were working with, was that related to him?
Correct.
At the time that that case was open, do you know whether or not Miss Marin was pregnant with the child Bryson in our case?
Yes, we did find out that she was pregnant with another child. I don't know exactly when during our case. We may have known right away, or it may have happened during our case, but we did become aware, yes.
Okay. And so you were the courtesy worker starting in October, you said?
Yeah, shortly after the case, after the family-based case began, I was assigned to go see the child at the placement with his aunt.
And so what kind of placement was he in?
A parental child safety placement.
All right. And so later on, did you become the primary worker assigned to this case?
Yes, eventually. I also was the worker that saw the child's, Damien's father, who I worked with until Miss Marin moved to Canyon. When I could confirm she was living there, the case was transferred to me as the primary worker, and I continued as the primary worker on the case until it closed when the new child was born and removed.
Okay. Now, from your understanding, was Damien ever formally removed from Miss Marin?
Not by the department.
Okay. And you say not by the department. Where did Damien, I guess, end up at the end of the family-based case?
So his biological father went through the process of filing for custody of him through the Attorney General's office and was able to arrange for her contact to be supervised by him or someone that he trusted.
Okay. So the family-based case essentially ended with her not being able to have unsupervised contact with that child, correct?
Correct.
Now, when you became involved in this case, did you go over all the services that were being asked of her in the family-based case?
I did.
And what were some of the services and what were some of the, I guess, the issues that were trying to be addressed in that family-based case?
Of course, ensuring that her mental health was being adequately addressed through counseling, and her substance use of methamphetamine or any other substances that she may have used in the past or during the case, through substance use treatment groups. Believe that's pretty much the gist of the services that we ask, other than random drug tests.
And was I guess you had mentioned methamphetamine use. Was that the primary reason for the involvement with Damien?
It was.
All right. And so in working those services, did she do any kind of drug treatment?
When I became involved, the reason that Damien was placed with his maternal aunt was
Non-responsive.
Overruled. You can go ahead, Miss Rich.
she had gone to an inpatient treatment facility. She didn't stay, but our concerns remained about her use.
Okay. And so you said she didn't stay. Does that mean she never successfully completed any kind of inpatient program while on family-based?
Not during my family-based case, but she did go to an outpatient treatment group afterward, and I believe that she did go through most, if not all of that. In fact, they were willing to continue allowing her to attend the group and be part of it until she went to inpatient treatment a second time. But by then, my case had ended.
Okay. And so by that point, the new removal had happened, correct?
Correct.
All right. And so, looking at those services, had she completed the inpatient or, you know, done or gone back to inpatient, do you believe that that would have helped address those issues that had led to the department's involvement?
Objection, speculation.
Thank.
Um, well, as far as, let's see, let me ask you about like the drug use you had mentioned. Did she drug screen for the department at all during the family-based case?
She took a hair test and a UA during the investigation. The hair test was positive.
Hearsay.
And let me ask, Ms. Ricks, have you been sent petitioner's exhibit number 2?
I have.
All right, and have you reviewed that document and those results?
I have.
And are those the tests that were done during the family-based and investigation stage on your end?
Correct.
All right. And there are multiple results in that document, correct?
Yes.
And is it fair to say that the 2 urinalysis tests did come back negative?
Yes, they did. That was the next one I was going to discuss.
Mhm.
After October, she refused to test for us.
Okay. And so the hair follicle you had mentioned, what were the results of that test on page? I'm not sure which page of the document it is. Is it the 7th page maybe of that document?
Let's see. The one on September 17th?
Yes, ma'am.
No, this one. Those were the hair test was positive for methamphetamine. The urinalysis was negative for all
Okay.
substances.
And so was that last test in October the last drug screen that you're aware that she did for the department during the family-based case?
Correct.
While you were on the case, did you make requests of her to do drug screens?
Yes, we did.
What kind of drug screens did you request?
We typically requested either her to go to take a urinalysis test or to submit to an oral test that was brought out at the time of a visit.
And based on your previous testimony, is it fair to say she did not complete any of those?
She refused.
Do you recall the last time or about the last time you would have asked her to test?
The last time that I asked her to test was April 14th of 2025.
Okay. And what kind of test did you ask her to do?
Either a UA or take the oral test that I had with me.
And to clarify, you had the test with you when you were meeting with her in person?
The oral test, yes, but she would have to go to the facility to take a urinalysis.
Okay. And did she deny the oral swab?
She did.
And I mean, about how close to the new baby being born was that request made?
I don't recall the baby's date of birth. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're right. But let me ask, was she at that point aware that she was pregnant?
Oh, definitely. And she was talking about being induced on a certain date. And so, yes, she was aware.
When you talked to her about the pregnancies, did you talk to her at all about whether or not she was using or continuing to use around that time?
She denied using. I talked with her about showing the department that she was using because her continued refusal and the fact that she was continuing to need to be supervised with her older son at the CPS office would potentially affect her contact with the newborn. And she said that she wanted to wait until after the baby was born to start testing for us.
Okay. After that new baby was born, did you have any further contact with Miss Marin?
I did not.
Okay. I will pass the question, Judge, or pass the witness, Judge.
All right, Ms. Monax.
Whenever she was working FBSS, FBSS is not court ordered, correct?
Not that particular case, correct?
But just in general, FBSS is not typically ordered, right? It's voluntary.
We do have some ordered cases, yes, but that one was not.
And with regard to Ms. Ms. Marin, you were asked if she attended inpatient treatment. She was not court ordered to attend inpatient treatment, correct?
That's correct.
She was not court ordered to attend outpatient treatment, correct?
Correct.
And so when she's working the services, she's voluntarily working these services during your case.
Yes.
I pass the witness.
All right. Mr. Saint?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Ricks, did she indicate to you who the father of the new baby was?
She did.
Who did she say that was?
She said that his name was Jeffrey Nino.
Okay. Did she ever recant that or hesitate or indicate that there's any other possible fathers?
Not to me.
Okay.
Not that I recall.
Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Ronho?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Ricks, while Miss Marin was pregnant, did she have any positive drug screens during that time?
She was not testing for us during that time. She was refusing.
So the entire time that you were involved while she was pregnant, she was refusing to drug screen. Is that correct?
Correct.
I'll pass the witness.
All right. Anyone have further questions for Ms. Ricks?
Never.
All right, can she be excused?
Yes, please.
All right, Ms. Ricks, I'll remove you so you can go back to your day's business. Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. Ms. Wildman, next witness.
Judge, we would call Pamela Pierce next.
Okay. Ms. Pierce, this is Judge Graham. If you'd unmute, please. All right, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. If you'd raise your right hand, you swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
All right, thank you, Ms. Wildman.
Thank you, Judge. Now, Miss Pierce, how are you currently employed?
I work for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services.
And what do you do for them?
I am a family-based safety services worker.
Back on April 21st of 2025, did you have involvement with a parent by the name of Yasmin Marin?
I did.
And what was your part in this investigation, or what were you doing?
I was filling in for my coworker, Lois Ricks, because she was in Amarillo and the baby was delivered in Plainview, and I work out of the Plainview office.
Okay. And is that fairly common that workers in different regions or counties will step in and help out when they can?
Yes, it is.
All right. And so was it from your understanding, where was that mother residing at the time the child was born?
I believe she was residing in Canyon.
And Canyon, Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And so when you went to meet with her, or did you go to meet with her?
Yes, the investigator and I went to the hospital.
Okay. And just so we know, who is the investigator that went with you?
That was Latasha Myers.
All right. And so when you went to the hospital to meet with Miss Marin, did she meet with you?
Yes, she did.
All right. And when you first met with her, did you go over the 310 forms and all of the other sort of required things?
Yes, ma'am, we did.
At that point, was she cooperative with the department?
She was, yes.
All right. And so when you talked to her, were you able to, did you at any point, or when you talked to her, did you at any point talk to her about who the father of her son Bryson was?
Yes, she said it was a Jeffrey Nino.
All right. Did he, in fact, does Bryson have Mr. Nino's last name?
I believe so.
Did she give you any information at that time about Mr. Nino?
She did not.
Okay. As far as talking with Miss Marin, when you first made contact with her, was she at the hospital alone?
No, her sister was there.
All right. And so when you first talked to her about sort of what was going on in the department being involved, what if anything was she saying as far as her drug use was concerned?
At first, she denied using anything. As we were continuing to converse with her, she said that because we did tell her that the report said she was positive for methamphetamine. She said that she was in the room with Mr. Nino, and that was probably why she was positive. She then said that she had gone to see him a few days before she delivered, and that she thought she was constipated. She said that he inserted his finger in her anus to see if that would help her go to the bathroom, and that was when they figured out that she was in labor.
Now, did she give any other excuses for why she might have been positive?
No, she did not.
But as far as at that point, did she make any, I guess, admit to anything as far as using methamphetamine?
She did not, but she did say that she had sex with Mr. Nino, and she may have been positive because of that.
When Miss Marin's sister left, did she give you more details?
She did. I was trying to talk to her about just being honest and helping us to help her. And she did finally admit that she had used with Mr. Nino.
Okay. Did she say about how recently that had happened?
I believe she said it was just a few days before she delivered.
All right. And so, did she give you any kind of indication about whether, I mean, what was it clear, or did she say whether or not Jeffrey knew that she was pregnant?
She said he did, yes.
Okay. And so, from your understanding, she was saying that he also used, correct?
That is correct.
And when we say use, what specifically was it that she was using?
She admitted to methamphetamine use.
Okay. And so, when you talked with her further, did you talk to her at all about whether or not she would be willing to work services at that time?
We did. She had mentioned that she would like to take the baby and go back to Serenity. But because she had gone, I believe it was for 3 days and left, we did not get approval for that.
Okay. And at that point, from your understanding, she was wanting to take the baby with her, correct?
That is correct.
Now, when you talked to her about the meth use with Jeffrey, did she acknowledge anything about how that methamphetamine may have affected the child?
No, she did not.
Okay. Did you talk to her at all about how the methamphetamine may have affected Bryson?
Well, we did discuss that you're not even supposed to smoke cigarettes when you're pregnant, and smoking something like methamphetamine may be an issue.
Okay.
She did state that she was aware.
Okay. So she stated she was aware that the methamphetamine use or the things you were talking about could cause an issue for the child.
That is correct, yes.
Okay. Now, as the courtesy worker, as far as continuing to work services or making a removal decision, did that really fall on, I guess, under your authority at that time?
No, it did not. The case was out of Randall County, so that would have gone back to the Randall County supervisors.
Okay. And do you recall when you talked to her, did she give you any other sort of, I guess, background on whether or not she was employed or had a place to live or anything like that?
We were aware that she had an apartment in her name.
Okay.
I did not know anything about employment.
Okay. And so at that point, let me ask, did you, after you finished your conversation with her, did you have any other involvement with the case that you recall?
I did not, no, ma'am.
Okay. I will pass the witness, Judge.
Thank you, Ms. Mullinex.
Ms. Pierce, you said that Yasmin wanted to go and take the baby to Serenity, but that she had been there and left after 3 days, so you didn't get approval. Was that from the department or from Serenity that you didn't get approval?
That was from the supervisors, our supervisors, not Serenity's.
Okay, so you didn't contact Serenity to see if she could go. It was in your office that you asked for permission, I guess, to do that, and they said no.
That is correct. Yes, ma'am.
I pass the witness.
All right, thank you, Mr. Saint.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ma'am, if you could clear something up for me. So when Bryson was positive for meth, did the mom admit that she had used meth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Pass the witness.
All right. Ms. Naranjo.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right. Anyone have further questions for Ms. Pierce?
No, Your Honor.
All right, may she be excused.
Yes, Judge.
All right, Ms. Pierce, thank you for your testimony. I'll release you so you can go back to your day's business.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, I need about a 5-minute break real quick, and then we'll resume.
Ms. McLean, how are you currently employed?
I'm an investigator with the Department of Family and Protective Services.
All right, and so were you working in that position back in April of 2025?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and so were you involved with the family, I guess with a child by the name of Bryson Nino and his parents, Jeffrey Nino and Yasmin Marin?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you weren't the primary investigator, correct?
That is correct.
All right, and so what sort of limited part did you play in the investigation?
I was requested to locate Mr. Nino, Jeffrey Nino, and speak with him regarding the child and him being the father.
Was it easy to locate or get in touch with him?
No, ma'am.
And why do you say that?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? It cut out.
And why do you say that?
I was given the initial addresses that were provided were incorrect, and then I located another address which was his mother's home address, and spoke with, I believe it was a stepfather at the time. He was not present, and then after some phone calls, he agreed. I finally got in touch with Mr. Nino, and he agreed to meet with me.
And you said his mother's home. Was that the home on Front Street?
I believe that was the correct address.
Okay.
Yes, the Front Street address.
When you spoke to him, were you able to get any kind of good, like, residential information or an address from him?
No, he stated that he had been staying with his mother.
Okay. So when you met with him, did you go over the 3010s and go through all those sort of required things with him?
Yes, ma'am.
And was he cooperative with the department?
Yes, ma'am.
Was he willing to talk to you about the case?
He did speak with me about the case. Yes, ma'am.
And what did you ask him at any point whether or not he thought he was the father?
He actually offered that information himself, that there was a chance that somebody else could be the father.
Okay. When you talked to him, did you talk to him a little bit more just about sort of his relationship with Miss Marin?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he give you any kind of idea about how long they'd been together?
I don't remember exactly what he had said, but it had kind of been an on again, off again thing. And she had moved, and then she was back at the house, and so it was kind of back and forth.
Okay. When did you talk to him at all about his drug use?
Yes, ma'am. He was honest about his drug use.
And what did he tell you?
That he had used methamphetamines. I don't remember. It had been pretty recent there in the town in Dimmitt. He initially stated that it had been used there at the his mother home, but then it was stated he doesn't use in his mother's home, and he would never do that.
Okay. Did he give you any idea about when the last contact he'd had with Yasmin was?
She was actually at that residence when she went into labor.
Okay. And what, if anything, did he tell you about how that played out?
Supposedly she had called a friend of hers that he identified as a black guy named Frederick, to come and pick her up to take her to the hospital. Um, and then I think she ended up calling a sister or somebody else, a different family member that took her to the hospital. He did not end up transporting her to the hospital.
Um, what if, I mean, did he give you any information about Yasmin's drug use?
He stated that he had used with her, but that it was his understanding when she moved to the canyon area that she was supposed to be quitting and not using anymore. Um, but he thinks that she actually, whoever she was hanging around with, that it had actually gotten worse.
Okay. Now, as far as kind of getting him sort of started on services or anything, did you ask him to drug test when you were having contact with him?
Yes, ma'am. And he initially was asking why he would drug test because he didn't believe that was the father. He initially asked why, but then he did indicate that he would, but he didn't have transportation. And we let him know that we could help with transportation.
Do you know if he ever took advantage of that?
I do not recall if he did or not.
Okay. But in your time on the case, did you ever see any drug screens from him?
No, ma'am.
And as far as sort of his personal history, did he indicate that he has other children?
Yes, ma'am.
And what kind of contact did he indicate that he had with those children?
None at all.
Were any of them living with him?
No, ma'am.
Did he tell you why he didn't have any kind of relationship with them?
Um, It had been because he was in and out of jail often, and that he had just never had a relationship with them, and that he didn't have like steady residence.
Okay. And was it your understanding that those who do the what I guess from your understanding from what he told you, where are those children?
They reside with their mother in the same town where he resides in Dimmitt.
Okay. Um, all right. At any point in your conversations with Mr. Nino, as far as paternity goes, did he indicate any other possible father?
He didn't say specifically who.
I will pass the witness, Judge.
All right, thank you, Ms. Mullinax.
No questions.
Mr. Saint?
Yes, thank you, Judge. You said he didn't say specifically who. Did he give any ideas or any information at all?
No, the only person that he mentioned was the friend that she called, but he didn't indicate that he thought he would be the father.
Okay. But he wasn't convinced he was the father.
Correct.
Did he indicate to you that there was no chance he was the father, or just that he didn't think he was the father?
Just that he didn't think that he was the father.
Okay. Did you speak to anybody else about who could be the father?
No, I did not.
Did you ever talk to mom?
The child's mother?
Yes, I'm sorry, yes.
No, I did not speak with her.
Okay, so just Mr. Nino.
Just Mr. Nino. Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. I'll pass witness.
All right, thank you, Ms. Naranjo.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. McLean, did Mr. Nino ever acknowledge if he had used methamphetamine with Miss Marine while she was pregnant?
I believe that he did. He stated that he had used with her. I don't recall when that had been, but he did indicate that they had used together.
Did he indicate that it was like recent use?
His was recent use. I know that he had stated, I think weeks prior to my visit with him, but I don't recall that she being with him at that time.
I'll pass the witness.
All right. Anyone have further questions for Ms. McLean?
There.
All right. Ms. McLean, I'll go ahead and release you so you can go about your day's business.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
for your
Your Honor.
testimony. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Your Honor.
Uh-huh.
The judge of the department will call Angelica Taylor.
Ms. Taylor, if you'd unmute. Thank you, ma'am. If you'd raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Wildman.
Thank you, Judge. And Ms. Taylor, how are you currently employed?
I'm an investigator with the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services.
All right. And so were you the primary investigator assigned to the case involving Bryson Nino and his family?
Yes, I was.
And how did you first become involved in this case?
I received a report that Miss Marin had given birth to Bryson, and they were both positive for methamphetamines.
Now, when you first, I guess, got the case, what was your first part in beginning your investigation?
So I contacted the hospital where Miss Marin had given birth, to just get further information.
Were you able to
regarding-
confirm, let me ask you, were you able to confirm that her and the child were at that hospital?
Yes.
What hospital were they at?
They were at Covenant Hospital in Plainview.
All right. And so the DFPS is kind of broken down into its own regions, correct?
Yes.
And so do certain investigators handle things in certain counties or areas?
Yes.
And are you, or at least at that time, in April of 2025, were you assigned to the Plainview area?
I was not. I was assigned to Potter and Randall counties.
Yeah. And so is that why we had several courtesy workers involved in this case?
Yes.
And would that include Patricia McLean and Pamela? I'm blanking on her name. Give me a minute. Pamela Pierce?
Yes.
All right. And so did they help with the investigation?
Yes.
And so were you able to review the information and statements that they were able to gather as part of your investigation?
Yes.
And so when you were making sort of the decisions or let me ask, were you the one that ultimately sort of made the removal decision and moved forward with the removal in this case?
Yes.
All right. And so based off of the concerns with the intake that the mother and child were positive for methamphetamines, what sort of concerns does the department have starting out in their investigation with this case?
We had obviously had concerns of drug use starting out, and I was also advised that Miss Marin was in the middle of a current FBSS case.
And so the current FBSS case, from your understanding, was Miss Marin fully compliant with that case?
No, I was told that she was not compliant.
And was that a concern for the department at that time?
Yes.
And so when you, let me see, Bryson was born April 19th of 2025, is that correct?
Yes.
And what would be the reason for concern of her having another child in the middle of a family-based safety case?
Our concern was that her family-based case was already open due to her drug use, and so now she was having another child that was also positive for drugs.
Was it concerning that she was not testing throughout that family-based case?
Yes.
And then again, were you aware at the time that she had gone to a treatment facility and then not completed that program?
Yes.
And what kind of what does that cause any concern for the department?
Yes.
And why does that cause some concerns?
She's not actively getting the help that she needs to become sober.
And so, once you became involved, or I guess during the investigation phase, do you have Petitioner's Exhibit 3 in front of you? It's been a while since I might have sent that. Let me know if I need to resend it.
Yes, I have it.
All right, and that is and those are drug screens, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And those were collected on April 28th of 2025, correct?
Yes.
And so this would have been fairly shortly after she had given birth to Bryson, right?
Yes.
And what were the results of that test?
They were positive for methamphetamines.
Did that cause the department cause for concern?
Yes.
Why would there be concern for the department if she was using methamphetamine during that pregnancy?
Miss Marin knew that she was pregnant. She was in the middle of a current case that she was not being cooperative in, but she was still using.
Okay. And are there any concerns for the child when a parent's using?
Yes, obviously, you know, that child can then also become positive, as well as just the baby can have withdrawal symptoms at birth and things like that.
And so from your part in this case, was there any other concerns for Bryson other than the methamphetamine, or I guess being the methamphetamine testing and let me strike that. That's a bad question. Were there any other concerns for Bryson at the hospital when you were doing your investigation?
Something else that was brought up was just that Miss Marin didn't appear she had much stability at that time. She was in housing and was about to be evicted.
Was there concern about, well, let me ask, do you know what kind of restrictions she had in contact with her older child?
She was only allowed, that other child was with his dad, and she was only allowed like supervised visitation with him.
And so did that cause any concerns for the department regarding her and Bryson?
Yes.
And so when the department is looking at this case and trying to determine what to do, did you consider and then rule out the idea of doing a PCSP or family-based placement or family-based services again with her?
Yes, we ruled that out because that has already been tried at that point and was unsuccessful.
And did the concerns about her maintaining sobriety and stability remain even despite that initial family-based case?
Yes.
Generally, for those cases to be successful and for removal to be avoided, do the parents need to, I guess, work those services and show improvements?
Yes.
And based off of the history that you were seeing, had there been any change in behavior or improvements with Miss Marin since the department had gotten involved with Damien?
No, there had not.
Did you believe that it was necessary to protect Bryson to remove him from Miss Marin's custody?
Yes.
Now, based on what you knew about Mr. Nino and his drug use and his lack of stability, was he a potential option for placement at that time?
No, he wasn't.
When you were involved, was he even willing to admit yet that he was, or did he even admit that he was the father?
He said that he wasn't sure. Like, we were not even sure if he was the dad.
Okay. Did that cause concern as far as being able to place him with Mr. Nino?
Yes.
Did the lack of a relationship that he had with his other children and that lack of residence and things like that, did those all cause concerns for Bryson's safety?
Yes.
And from your understanding, was Mr. Nino had also been admitting to recent methamphetamine use, correct?
Correct.
And was it concerning to you that Miss Marin had indicated that they had both been using together shortly before the child was born?
Yes.
From your understanding, did both parents know that she was pregnant but still use methamphetamine?
Yes.
Now, let's see. I mean, when Bryson was discharged, where was he ultimately placed?
He was ultimately placed at a foster home in Lubbock.
All right, and so when Miss Marin was discharged from the hospital, do you know where she went?
She returned back to her residence in Canyon.
And so once she was back in Canyon, were you able to have more in-person communication with her?
Yes, I did a home visit with her.
All right, and so were you able to confirm whether or not she was going to be able to stay in that home?
Correct. She said that she was getting evicted.
Okay. Did she seem to have any long-term plan as far as where she was going to be going?
No, she didn't.
Was she working at that time?
No, she was trying to get a job.
Did she have any other way to support herself?
She said that she was just living off her income tax.
And did you meet with her in April, shortly after Bryson was born?
Yes.
Did she give you any indication on how long she might be able to do that?
No, she didn't.
Did you talk to her more about Mr. Nino?
Yes, I did.
Did she indicate that he was at all interested in being involved with the department and trying to get Bryson back in one of their homes at that time?
No, she indicated that he was just like saying that he wishes her the best and that he hopes that she gets him back, but he didn't want anything to do with the situation.
And when you talked to her about paternity, did she give any other indication as to a possible father other than Jeffrey Nino?
No, she said that he's the father, but she did discuss being married at that time.
And who is she married to at that time?
She was married to, I'm not sure of his name. I think it's Michael Reyes, and he was currently incarcerated.
And he had been incarcerated for quite some time, correct?
Yes.
And so he was not a possible biological father of the child, correct?
Correct.
Now, did you talk to her at all about trying to work services again and doing what she might need to do to try and make things safe for Bryson?
Yes, we did talk about like going to inpatient rehab. We talked about her working her services. At that time, she was very motivated and said she wanted to do that.
Okay. Did she seem to understand sort of the seriousness of the drug use and want to participate in rehab this time?
Yes, at first she said she didn't understand why she needed inpatient rehab, but she said that she now understood.
Okay. Now, based off of all of the concerns that we had talked about earlier that kind of led us to pursuing removal, do you believe that Bryson could have been safely placed with Yasmin in any form at that time?
No.
Do you think that if she had found a rehab that would have taken her and Bryson, that he would have been safe at that time?
Reaction speculation.
This
Okay.
judge. Well, did you rule out any kind of options of the child staying with her at that time?
Yes.
All right. And so do you believe that it was contrary to his physical health and safety to go home with either Miss Marin or Mr. Nino at that time?
Yes.
And as far as reasonable efforts to avoid this removal, do you believe that her having been offered services and the department trying to engage her in services while she was pregnant were reasonable efforts to avoid the removal?
Yes.
Do you believe that considering and ruling out those other options were at least considering them was at least a reasonable effort to try to remove?
Yes.
Would you have been able to do any kind of kick out order to protect the child at that time?
No.
Would that have left him without any sort of parent in the home?
Yes.
And at this point, were there any family options that were available, at least at the time of removal?
No, there was no one available.
Ultimately, was an adversary hearing held in this case on, let me look, May 16th of 2025?
Yes.
And was the department named temporary managing conservator at that time?
Yes.
As far, do you have petitioner's exhibit 4 in front of you?
Yes.
And is that a certified copy of the adversary hearing order?
Yes, it is.
All right, and Judge, the department would move to admit petitioner's exhibit 4, that is a self-authenticating certified copy of the order.
All right, objections?
No objection.
Petitioner's 4 is admitted.
And if you would go down to page 13, please.
Okay.
And what under section 22 at that hearing, what was Yasmin then ordered to do?
Successfully complete an inpatient substance abuse treatment program.
All right, and then Miss Marin was having visitation with Bryson at that time, correct?
Yes.
And until Mr. Nino had wanted to engage or acknowledge paternity, was there no visitation with him at that time?
Correct.
All right, and had he begun working services or shown an interest in being involved, was the plan to then start visitation?
Correct.
All right. Do you believe that at the time of the removal that it needed to be done at that time prior to an adversary hearing?
Yes.
And is that based off of the circumstances as you that you had testified to as part of your investigation?
Yes.
I will pass the witness, Judge.
Thank you. Ms. Molinax?
You said that there were no possible family placements. Did you ask her about placements with regard to Mr. Nino's family?
I can't recall if I did or not.
Were you aware that Mr. Nino's mother had some of his other children?
Yes, I was aware of that, and I was aware he was also living with his mother.
Okay. And did you ask her about any possible family placement that she had?
No, I never spoke with his mother. That was Patricia.
I'm sorry, I mean that Ms. Marin had. Any family members that she would have had that were possible placement?
No, I don't recall speaking with her about that.
Okay, so then when you say there was no possible family placement, what did you base that on?
We didn't even know if Mr. Nino was the father or not. So we're not going to place with, potential family if we don't know if he's the dad.
Right, but what about the mom?
She didn't have anyone. She only brought up 2 different people, and they were in New Mexico, which would require an ICPC.
Okay, so when I asked you if mom had any possible placement, you did talk to her about it. They just were in New Mexico.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. I'd pass the witness.
Mr. Saint?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Taylor, did you ever speak to Mr. Nino yourself?
No, I did not.
Okay. And who all did you talk to about possible fathers of the child?
Miss Marin is who I
Okay.
spoke with.
Did you ever speak to Miss Marin's mother?
No, I don't believe so.
Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
All right. Mr. Ronhill?
Thank you, Your Honor. Miss Taylor, did Miss Marine admit to you of using methamphetamine while pregnant?
Yes, she did.
And do you believe that that action is a conduct that would endanger the physical well-being of the child?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness.
All right. Anything further from Ms. Taylor?
Just briefly.
Okay.
Ms. Taylor, I guess to clarify, when you say you hadn't talked to Mr. Nino, did you make attempts to try to talk to him?
Yes, when Patricia couldn't get a hold of him, I tried myself and I couldn't get a hold of him either.
And so for your part in the investigation, were you ever able to get in touch with him?
No, I wasn't.
And as far as no further questions, Judge.
Anyone else?
I do, Judge.
Okay.
Ms. Taylor, and I think you said this before, but just to make sure, did Miss Mom said that she believed Mr. Nino was the father?
Yes.
Okay. She didn't give you any other possible fathers?
No, she didn't.
Okay. But she was confident it was Mr. Nino?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
All right. Anyone else? All right. Then can Ms. Taylor be excused?
Yes, please, Judge.
All right. Ms. Taylor, thank you for your testimony. I'll remove you so you can go about your day's business.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Ms. Wildman, next witness.
Judge, the department would call Michelle Slagle.
Okay. Ms. Slagle, if you'd raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Wildman.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Slagle, how are you currently employed?
I am a permanency specialist at St. Francis Ministries.
And were you the permanency specialist that was assigned to the case involving Bryson Nino and his parents, Yasmin Marin, and the alleged father, Jeffrey Nino?
Yes.
All right, and so have you been the caseworker pretty much the entire time this case has been open?
Yes.
And so let's get an update first on Bryson. Where is Bryson currently placed?
Bryson is currently placed in a kinship home in Health Center with Yasmin's cousin.
Okay. And is that let me look. Would that be the Alvarados?
Yes, ma'am.
And so is Jennifer or Benjamin Miss Marin's cousin?
Yes.
Which one of them? Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jennifer is Yasmin's cousin, and Benjamin is Jennifer's husband.
Okay. And about how long has Bryson been with them?
He has, oh my goodness, he's been there for about a year. I'm sorry, I don't have the exact date, but he's been there for quite a while. He was in a foster home while we completed the home study, and then he went into their home.
How has Bryson, and have you been able to see Bryson there, talk with them, and see how he's doing?
Yes, ma'am.
How has Bryson done since he moved in with the Alvarados?
He's doing fantastic. He's hitting milestones. He does great in daycare. He eats and sleeps good. He does great at the church nursery. He's doing really good.
Now, being that he is with Miss Marin's cousin, has he been able to have contact with some of his extended family?
Yes, he is able to have contact with extended family.
And he's little, but has he had that opportunity to build some of those relationships with Miss Marin's family?
I'm not for sure exactly how much he gets to see them, but yes, he has been able to meet them and see them. Yes.
Now, are the Alvarados a long-term placement for Bryson? Are they willing to adopt him if that became an option?
Yes, they have gotten licensed so they could adopt if that is an option.
Okay. Do you have any concerns at all for Bryson in that home?
No, ma'am.
And as of now, are there any concerns about him developmentally, or is he on any kind of medications or anything the court needs to be aware of?
No, ma'am, he's not.
All right. And so let's talk about let's shift gears and talk about the parents. So when this case first came to you, were service plans developed for both Miss Marin and Mr. Nino?
Yes, ma'am.
And at the beginning of the case, what was your communication with the parents like?
I had communication with Yasmin. I was able to meet her at her apartment in Canyon, and it was pretty regular the first couple of months. Jeffrey would not have any contact with me. If I had Yasmin with me, she would call him, and then I would be able to talk to him, but he would just cuss me out and tell me he wasn't going to do any services, and he would hang up the phone.
At any point had you tried to go up to the house and dim it to see if you could find him there and have contact with him?
Yes, I would. One, I would go, and of course, his mom would say that he wasn't there. At one point, I did see him run from the backyard to the garage, yelling at his mom to tell me that he was not there.
Okay. So, were you ever really able to go over his family plan of service with him? Did he ever give you that opportunity?
No, not until March of 2026 was I ever able to go over anything with him.
Okay. Now, Miss Marin, were you able to go over it with her and kind of go over what sort of the expectations were and what she might need to do as part of that service plan?
Yes, ma'am.
And when at the beginning of the case, was she receptive to that?
Yes, she was.
Now, at the status hearing, give me a minute to pull that up. Do you have petitioner's exhibit number 5 in front of you, Miss Legal?
Yes, I am trying to. Yes, okay.
All right, and so at that, I guess the status hearing were those family plans of service. And Judge, I would move to admit petitioner's exhibit 5, which is the certified copy of the status hearing order. That is a self-authenticating document from the court.
All right, objections?
No objection.
No objection.
Petitioner's 5 is admitted.
Thank you. And so if you would go to, or let me see, at the end of that document, are those service plans included?
Yes,
And at the time that this hearing was held, Mr. Reyes was still considered a legal father, correct?
that is correct.
And so he's referenced pretty much through all of your court reports and all of the court orders, correct?
Yes,
But he was previously, during an earlier setting for this case, had been non-suited as a party, and he is no longer involved, correct?
that is correct.
Now, that was because he was ultimately obviously determined not to be the father, right?
That is correct.
All right, and so everything else, when we look at it relating to Miss Marin and Mr. Nino, from your understanding, sort of then at the beginning, what sort of visitation was Miss Marin participating in at the beginning of the case?
At the beginning of the case, she was participating in in-person visitation, and we were transporting her from Canyon to Lubbock, where Bryson was.
And pursuant to this order, Mr. Nino, was his visitation suspended until he started working the service plan and mitigating the reasons for removal?
Yes,
At any point during this case, did that ever change in regards to Mr. Nino?
no, he never had visitation.
With Bryson?
I mean, yeah, with Bryson. I'm sorry.
Do you know, from your understanding, has he ever even met Bryson?
Not from my understanding, no.
Okay. And so, throughout the case, did you make efforts to try to talk to him about the services, about the case, and about Bryson?
Yes.
And so this was signed June 16th of 2025, and you said that the first time you ever got to really meet with him was March of 2026, correct?
That is correct.
So that's a pretty substantial period of time. Would you agree?
Yes.
Now, Miss Marin, let's talk about sort of what services she was participating in at the beginning. When at the beginning of the case, what was she participating in?
At the beginning of the case, it took her a minute because she had got evicted um, from her apartment, and she was living with her mom. Um, she really didn't start any services until she had went to rehab, and I believe I want to say that was maybe. mm, I'm trying to look back on my stuff. I think she might have went to rehab in May of 25, if I'm correct.
And I mean, we say she didn't start services, but you agree with me that the court ordered her to do that at the
Yes.
adversary. So she started out working services, correct?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And you'd agree that she started out having visitation and trying to maintain that relationship with Bryson, correct?
Yes.
Now, about when, let me go back to the status hearing real quick. So, in that order, on page 8, were both Miss Marin and Mr. Nino ordered to drug screen?
Yes.
And was Mr. Nino's visitation with Bryson further suspended until he provided the negative UA or hair follicle drug screens?
Yes.
Do you know, did either of them complete those June drug screens?
I do not believe either one of them provided those drug screens.
Okay. Now, when Miss Marin went to rehab, and it may have been around this time, correct?
Yes.
Was she still?
I'm so sorry. I think she entered rehab in May of 25.
Okay. And so, do you know, did she successfully complete that program?
Yes, she did.
Do you recall where she went?
She went to Serenity in Plainview.
Okay. Now, did she get back, or was she in contact with you while she was in that program?
Yes, she was.
And did she come back from that program and start talking to you at all about completing additional services?
Yes, she did.
At any point leading up to that, had there been any changes in whether or not Mr. Nino had gotten in touch with you or was drug screening or trying to work any of his services?
No.
Ultimately, let's kind of looking at that family plan of service. What services was Miss Marin asked to complete, and which services did she complete?
She was asked to complete inpatient rehab, which she did complete at Serenity. She was also asked to random drug screen, which we've had very few drug screens from her. She was asked to do individual counseling, which she did do in Serenity and continued for the month of July when she got out with her same therapist, but then stopped She completed her parenting classes in rehab. She was asked to do a psychological and she did not complete that. She was asked to do rational behavior therapy and she did not complete that. And then, of course, to maintain employment and stable housing and have a relapse prevention plan, which she did do a relapse prevention plan in rehab, but she did not follow through with that when she was out.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that you made a comment regarding the drug screens that we didn't have very many of those. When was, I guess, prior to the most recent one, when was the last time she actually UA or hair strand tested for you when requested to?
It was July 14th of 2025.
Okay. And she was negative on both the hair strand and the UA that time, correct?
That is correct.
Would that have been right about the time she had gotten out of Serenity?
Yes, that was, I believe she got out of Serenity around July 11th, if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere right around that time.
And so what was your communication like with her after that?
Starting about the 1st of August, there was very minimal contact with her. And then so sorry, my mailman showed up, so my dogs went going crazy for a second. I'm sorry. August was very minimal contact. I had tried to contact her mom, or I did talk to her mom at that time too, to try to locate her, and she was going back and forth from her mom's house and Jeffrey's house at that time. And then after that, there was no contact.
When you say no contact, were you making attempts to contact her?
Yes, ma'am. I was making attempts up till I left for medical leave on November 2nd. And up till then, I was not able to have any contact with her.
Okay. And did you have a courtesy worker attempting to make contact with her while you were out?
Yes, ma'am.
When you returned, did you continue attempting to make contact with her?
Yes, ma'am.
I guess from August of 2025, just so I understand, was that the last time you had contact with her?
Yes, up until March of 2026.
Okay, and so I guess the same question goes during those time frames. Were you also still attempting to make contact with Mr. Nino?
Yes.
And were you successful then?
No, not until March of 2026.
When you first located Miss Marin again in March of 2026, how did that come about?
I was waiting down the street at by Mr. Nino's home to see when someone showed up or someone pulled up to the house so I can try to locate him. Finally, somebody came home and I was able to knock on the door and he was there. And about that time, I started getting phone calls or text messages from Yasmin um, saying that she would see me because I had texted both of them, letting them know that I was in Dimmitt and needed to see them. And when I was able to finally catch Mr. Nino, I'm assuming he let her know I was there. And then she wanted to meet with me at that point, but she would not meet me at her house. I had to meet her at the Dollar General.
And that was the Dollar General in Dimmitt?
Uh-huh.
All right, so let's start with Mr. Nino. When you met with him, did you try to go over his service plan or talk to him about anything with the case at that point?
Yes, I did. And his mom was also there. And he had a lot. He had a heart attack and found out he had congestive heart disease. And he felt that the most responsible thing for him to do would be to relinquish his rights to Bryson. And his mom felt the same way. They had just asked if I would visit with the foster parents or the kinship parents and ask if they could have updates or pictures of Bryson as he grows. But he was wanting to relinquish his rights at that time.
Since having that conversation in March, have you heard different things from him?
Yes. I guess when we went to court, I believe the 1st of June was the first I'd heard that he had wanted to try to get Bryson. And then it was no contact again, trying to get him to go DNA test. And then when I found out he was in the hospital, that's when I was able to catch him again and try to get him to go drug screen, or not drug screen, I'm sorry, DNA test, and which that was in June. And at that time in June, he had also said the same thing when he was in the hospital, that he was not in any condition or position health wise or financially to be able to take care of him, and that he wanted to relinquish.
And as far as the placement that Bryson was in, did he have any issues with them remaining with Yasmin's family if he was the father or if he was considering a relinquishment?
No, he said that he didn't want to pull Bryson away from somebody that he knew and was comfortable with and had been raising him and that he had a bond with. He felt that it was better for him to stay there with them.
Now, did Mr. Nino make any progress on any of the services in his service plan from when you initially were able to finally meet with him in March to the last contact that you had with him?
No, ma'am.
And just briefly, what were some of the services that were in his service plan?
On him, it was individual counseling, random drug screens, an OZAR assessment, parenting classes, rational behavior therapy, and stable housing and income, and a psychological evaluation.
Now, looking at that service plan, do you believe that that's narrowly tailored to the needs of this case?
Yes.
Do you believe that had Mr. Nino completed his genetic testing and completed those services, that would have helped him mitigate the reasons for removal and potentially be reunified with Bryson?
Yes.
At this point, do you believe, based off your knowledge of the case and working with Mr. Nino, that he has mitigated any of the reasons for removal?
No, he has not.
And I'd ask you the same question. I know we kind of skipped over it with Miss Marin, but do you believe that those services that you had outlined in her service plan were narrowly tailored to the needs of this case and the reasons for removal?
Yes.
And do you believe that had she continued to work services after being released from rehab and continued to participate in those services, that those could have helped her mitigate those reasons for removal and work towards reunification?
Yes, I do.
Do you believe that that service plan and the services that had been offered and the services that were worked were all reasonable efforts to try to reunify?
Yes, I do.
And as far as sort of the visitation, had Mr. Nino completed the requirements to start that visitation, would the St. Francis have been able to facilitate that?
No, he has not did anything to do visitation.
If he had, would we have been able to
Oh,
facilitate
yes,
that
yes,
visitation?
absolutely, yes.
And so, do you believe that continuing to try to engage him so he could build that relationship was a reasonable effort to try to reunite him with Bryson?
Yes.
As far as Miss Marin initially with her visits, had she maintained contact with the department between August and March, would she have still had visits?
Yes, she would have. Yes.
And so let's talk about in March when she got in touch with you. When you met her at the Dollar General, what was her demeanor?
Um, she was very, somebody dropped her off and she came and got in my car. She wouldn't give me her address of where she was living because she didn't know if she was going to continue living there.
Responsive,
Sorry, what?
non-responsive.
Sustain.
And so when were you able to ever get an address for her, like a current address?
No, I was not.
Were you ever able to assess any kind of residence as to where she was living, if that would maybe appropriate for Bryson?
No, I was not.
Did you talk to her then about her services and the service plan?
Yes, I did.
At that point, what was she saying, if anything, about working services?
At that point, she wanted to, she said she knew she was going to have to start over. And with all of her services, and I told her, yes, you'd have to start over and do another OZAR assessment. And she had asked if she went to rehab again, if she could go to rehab and take Bryson with her, and that she did want to try to fight for him and work services again. So I did let her know that, I would turn in the authorizations for counseling and services that she could start over with again. And that she did, at that point, she did want to try to fight for Bryson again.
Did she ever follow through with any of those authorizations?
No, ma'am.
Did she maintain consistent contact with you as far as trying to get those started, or even
No.
start visitation? Did she even stay in touch with you as far as trying to get visitation to start back up?
No, ma'am.
Now, Miss Marin, when you reauthorized her services, did you reauthorize Mr. Nino's as well?
No, I had not redid his because at that point he said he was not going to work services, that he just wanted to relinquish at that time.
Had he indicated differently to you, could you have reauthorized all of his as well?
Yes, absolutely.
And do you believe that would have been continuing to make those reasonable efforts?
Yes.
When you met with Miss Marin, did she give you any reason as to why she had disappeared from contact with the department?
She just said that she lost her way, basically, is what happened, and wasn't working, and did admit to using, prior to our visitation. She said at that point that she was clean. And I asked her if she could go drug screen for me, and asked her if I needed to get her transport to get there, or what we needed to do. And she said no, that she could get herself
Non-responsive.
there.
Sustain.
Okay. And so at any point prior to your meeting with the parents at the hospital in June, did she drug screen or do anything else?
No.
All right. And so when you met with them in June at the hospital, I guess what hospital did you meet them at?
I met them at Northwest Texas.
Okay. And were you able to meet with them at the hospital and they were willing to talk to you?
Yes.
Were they together?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Mr. Nino, at that point, when you met with him, had he he was supposed to have done genetic testing by that point, correct?
That is correct.
Did you make any efforts yourself to try to get him to a testing center?
Yes, I did.
About how many times did you go out and try to get him there?
I tried about 3 times myself, and then I had set up Jennifer to go out there. And he did the same thing to me. And Yasmin also in that conversation was texting me.
Non-responsive.
Sustain.
Did you have any conversations with Miss Marin while you were trying to locate Mr. Nino for the testing?
Yes.
And what, if anything, was she telling you?
That he was 2 blocks down to wait for him, or give him a couple minutes and he'll be there.
And so when you met with them in the hospital, did either of them give you a reason why that hadn't been done?
No, they just hadn't did it.
Did you talk to Mr. Nino about making additional efforts to get him to the testing center?
Yes, we had talked about trying to get to see if we could get somebody from the Attorney General's office to test him while he was in the hospital. The day I found out he was, in the hospital, we were trying to get somebody there to get him tested, and we were not successful with that. He said he would go as soon as he got released from the hospital. They released him on a Sunday, I believe, and he said they were closed, so he wasn't able to. And then when he got out and he was home, I was messaging him and talking to him, and I had somebody ready to go pick him up in Dimmitt and take him to Amarillo. And he told me that he had somebody, that he didn't need a ride to go. And then after that, I was asking him, "Did you go?" And no reply. And then I have since left on medical leave again for the last couple of weeks. And I do not believe they were able to contact him either.
I mean, at this point, has he gone to test?
No, he has not.
And in these conversations that you've been able to have with him when he's been at least a little bit communicative between March and June of this year, has he ever denied that he's Bryson's father?
No, he has never denied that he's Bryson's father.
Has he indicated whether or not at this point he believes he's Bryson's father or not?
He's always told me that he is the father.
Okay. And as far as Miss Marin, when you talked with her at the hospital, did you talk to her about whether or not she had done any additional services up to that point?
No, well, yes, we did talk about it, and we talked about, that it was time to get going on services, and because of due to her other condition she has. And she
Well,
said
and let me just ask, what other condition did she confirm for you at the hospital?
that she's about 7 months pregnant.
Okay. And did you, during this conversation with the parents, did you ask her or did you ask both of them what, if any, effect that has had on their willingness to cooperate with the department?
Mm,
What was that you broke up?
I'm sorry. Jeffrey had stated that he had, the reason why he had been having Yasmin stay in his room in his mom's basement to keep her clean because she's pregnant. So he's been holding her there and keeping her with him so she would stay clean. And then we discussed, she didn't want to tell nobody that she was pregnant due to she didn't want the courts to take this baby. And we talked about, we're at a baseline right now, drug screen, start services, get clean, and that could help, possibly when this next baby is born, showing effort that you're trying to do right and stay clean, so this baby can be healthy, and maybe, you can have a good home for this child.
And did she ultimately drug screen for you at the end of June, or I guess when you were in contact with
Yeah,
her?
yes, yeah, I believe it was the middle of June. She did go to drug screen for me, because I told her this could be a good baseline for her to show that her numbers or her levels are going down, to show that she's had some effort in trying to get clean.
Now, Petitioner's Exhibit 8 has already been admitted. Is that the drug screen that she went to and get completed for you?
So sorry, I don't. You said 8?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And the hair follicle for that was positive for methamphetamine, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Did you talk to her before she did the drug screen or ask her at all about what her drug use had looked like in I guess more recently?
Yeah, she said that she knew her UA would be clean, but she knew her hair follicle would be positive. And that she had stopped using, when we talked about the dangers of, with this baby that she's pregnant with, and that since she's already had Bryson and he was positive with methamphetamines when he was born. We just talked about the whole thing of safety of the baby, and what that would look like with that child, and how that would look with CPS, if she had another child that was born positive with methamphetamines.
Now, let me ask you, after those conversations, and the initial attempts to get Mr. Nino to again genetically test, have you seen any updates that they have completed any additional services?
No, I did see, like on my text messages where I've tried to call and then text. I It does have the read receipt on them, so he has read my text messages. So I do know that somebody has read the messages that I've sent him, but there's been no contact, and I don't believe there's been any since I've been out either.
And I'd ask the same question about Miss Marin. Has there been any changes since that conversation?
No, she did go and drug screen for me. And then the last conversation I had with her, um, was, I'm so sorry. June 22nd was our last conversation, and she'd asked me if I would send her attorney's phone number.
Okay. Now, having been here observing the case and working with this family and the child, do you believe that based off of everything that you've heard and that you know of, that Miss Marin knowingly placed Bryson in surroundings that endangered his physical or emotional well-being?
Yes.
Do you believe that she engaged in conduct that endangered Bryson's physical and emotional well-being?
Yes.
Do you believe that her drug use, both during her pregnancy and after, contribute to both of those things?
Yes.
Do you believe that her lack of cooperation with the department also shows that she has at very least engaged in conduct that it continues to endanger the child?
Yes.
Now, Bryson has been in care of the department since birth, correct?
That is correct.
And so that would be April of 2025.
Yes. Yes.
So it's fair to say he's been in the care of the department for more than 6 months at this point, correct?
Yes.
Do you believe at this point the department has made reasonable efforts to reunify Bryson with Yasmin?
Yes.
Um, do you believe that she has not regularly visited or maintained significant contact with Bryson?
That's correct.
And do you believe that as of today, she still has demonstrated an inability to provide Bryson with a safe environment?
That is correct.
Do you also believe, based off of the evidence and your communication with her, that she had previously used a controlled substance, namely the methamphetamine, that endangered Bryson's health and safety?
Yes.
And do you believe that after completing that rehabilitation program at Serenity, she has continued using methamphetamine?
Yes.
In regards to Mr. Nino, At any point have he or Miss Marin ever denied the fact that he is the father of Bryson?
No,
Do you have any reason not to believe them that he is the father of Bryson?
no,
Have they either of them indicated whether or not he's the father of the current child?
yes,
And do they believe that he is the father?
yes, they both say he is.
And so is it fair to say they both believe he's the father of both of these children?
Yes,
And so as far as genetic testing or anything, from the department's position, would we have any issue with the judge taking the evidence from this case and adjudicating him as the father today?
no,
If he were to do that, do you believe that Mr. Nino has knowingly placed or allowed the child to remain in conditions that endanger his physical or emotional health and well-being?
yes,
Do you believe that he's engaging in conduct and knowingly allowing the child to potentially remain with people who are engaging in conduct that would endanger Bryson's physical or emotional well-being?
yes,
Do you believe that that's so because he's maintained this relationship with Miss Marin?
yes,
And do you believe that that would be so because there's evidence from Miss Marin that they have consumed methamphetamine together while she was pregnant with Bryson?
yes,
I'd ask the same question too. Bryson, having been in the care of the department for more than 6 months at this point, and really more than a year at this point, do you believe that the department's made reasonable efforts to return Bryson to Mr. Nino at this point?
yes,
Do you believe that it's true, it's fair to say he has not regularly visited or maintained a significant relationship with the child?
yes,
And do you believe that he has demonstrated an inability to provide the child with a safe environment?
yes,
Um, as far as and Judge, if I would ask that the court also take judicial notice when we're talking about termination, if he's not adjudicated as the father of the paternity registry search that's filed into the case, which indicates nobody had registered for, I guess, as a possible father of Bryson. And then I do have some best interest questions too, Judge, with Miss Slagle having come off medical leave, is if we could take a break for her so she can move around for maybe 5 minutes before we continue. You're muted, Judge. Oh,
Let's
sorry.
take a 10-minute break and then we'll be back.
Thank you,
thank
Judge.
you, Judge.
Okay, I think everybody is back with us now. Ms. Wildman, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Slagle, what is the department's recommendation regarding the parents' parental rights today?
Termination for both parents.
Do you believe that would be in the best interest of Bryson?
Yes.
Why do you believe that would be in his best interest?
He's very bonded to his home, which I know we like to reunify with parents if at all possible. But neither parent has stability for housing. Neither parent has employment. Yasmin is still testing positive and roughly 7 to 8 months pregnant. And Jeffrey has stated with his health issues and continuing health issues that he is not healthy or stable enough to care for a child.
Based off of the participation or lack of participation, do you believe that the parents have made any efforts to mitigate the reasons that led to Bryson's removal?
No, ma'am.
And do you believe that there are still concerns for his safety if he were to be returned to them in any way?
Yes.
Do you believe that it would be in Bryson's best interest to remain with the family he's with and be adopted?
Yes, ma'am.
Would that allow him to maintain some contact with his biological family?
Yes, and they have both. The kinship home has also stated that they are willing to give updates to Mr. Nino's family, also pictures and updates and things like that for Bryson.
Do you believe, with your experience with them and seeing how they've cared for Bryson, that they would be able to maintain appropriate boundaries and maintaining what relationships they're able to maintain?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you believe, as far as maintain or that home, are they able to meet Bryson's physical and emotional needs now?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you believe they'd be able to meet those needs in the future?
Yes, I do.
They are licensed foster parents now, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And so from your understanding, have they gone through the training to understand some of the, long-term things that could arise with children adopted from foster care?
Yes, absolutely.
Do they seem like they are well equipped to handle anything that may happen and willing to work with Bryson?
Yes.
Do they appear to be committed to Bryson for the rest of his life?
Yes, absolutely they are.
Do you have any concerns about the stability of their home?
No, ma'am.
And do you, I guess, to the alternative, do you have concerns about whether or not Mr. Nino and Miss Yasmin Marin would be able to meet Bryson's physical and emotional needs?
I'm so sorry. Can you say that one more time?
Do you have any concerns about whether or not the Mr. Nino and Miss Yasmin would be able to meet his physical and emotional needs?
Yes, I do have concerns with that.
And do you still have concerns about the physical and emotional danger that the parents may pose to Bryson?
Yes.
I will pass the witness, Judge.
Thank you, Ms. Mullinax.
Thank you. Michelle, if I told you that you emailed me that Ms. Marin went to rehab on May 30th of 2025, does that sound correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And so she was there for the month of June, right? And that's why she didn't drug screen.
Yes, she was. I do believe she was there. She did drug screen one time while she was in rehab. They were able to transport her to Lubbock to drug screen. And I'm so sorry, I don't remember if it was just a UA or if it was a UA and a hair follicle. And then she did drug screen. Well, you know what? That might have been the drug screen that we have. I'm so sorry.
Well, if your report says that she didn't screen in June because she was in rehab, would that be correct?
Yes, and I do believe it might have been the 1st of July because I do believe she was there for maybe the first week, 2 weeks after July.
Do you know how long that program is?
It's a 30-day program, and then you can stay longer if needed. I do believe she might have stayed about 6 weeks, if I'm remembering correctly.
And during that period of the case, she was doing really well communicating and doing her services, correct?
Yes, she was during that time.
And you said that she was able to work some of her other services while she was there. I think it was parenting and maybe something else.
Yeah, she did parenting and she was doing individual counseling, and she had completed a relapse prevention plan. When she got out, she was still continuing to do the counseling with her counselor that she had from Serenity.
And whenever she was in Serenity, was she getting visitation with Bryson?
Yes, she was.
Was she being transported to Lubbock like you said that she had been at some point?
Yeah, I do believe they were transporting her. Maybe we had somebody in Plainview that was transporting her to Plainview for that visitation.
Okay, and so she did very well. She graduated the program and then got out and did drug screen.
I'm so sorry, Aaron. I'm trying to look back. I know she had drug screened while she was in rehab.
Well, I think you said earlier that it was maybe July 13th or something that she drug screened for you. Is that right?
Yeah, I do believe it's July. I know I visited with her July 11th at her mom's house. And we had called and set up some services that day for her while we were there.
And so would she have drug screened as a result of that meeting at her mom's house?
She should have.
Okay. And I think those results are in evidence. I don't know which exhibit, but
Yeah, well, they were clean. Her hair follicle and her UA, I believe, were clean at that time.
okay. And so she was doing well. And then when she gets out, is she being transported to the visitation to her child?
Yes, we were going to continue with the transport to see her child. And that was the month of July. I don't believe she's seen him in August, and that was about the time she started to fall off from having communication with me.
And in August, I think that's when Bryson was moved to her cousin's house. Would that be correct?
Yes, I believe it was maybe August 25th or somewhere right in that time frame.
So he's been there for about 11 months at this point in time and hasn't been moved since then, right?
That is correct.
And has she, as far as you know, has she visited him at all while he's been in that placement?
No.
Okay. And so when's the last time, if you know the date, when's the last time she worked a service in this case, other than a drug test?
The last time a service was worked was it was in July, and honestly, I don't think she actually worked services. I know we had set them up for her to start them. We had her scheduled that day when I was there. We had her scheduled for her rational behavior therapy, and that was going to be in September was the next opening for her. And she did not complete that, and we had put in her service authorizations for counseling. And the reason why we did that was because we were not sure if her counseling through Serenity was going to be sufficient enough for St. Francis or for the department. So we had set her up with another counseling department just in case.
Okay, so I guess my question is the last service she works, that would have been what she was doing while she was in rehab, the parenting and the counseling, if it counted.
Yes, yes.
And then you said that the last contact you had with her, I think was in August. You kept contacting her until March, or I guess until November. How long were you out on medical?
I was out for 3 months. I was out from November 2nd to I believe January 27th.
And that was something that wasn't planned, so it was kind of an emergency, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So do you know who was covering for you during that period?
Well, my supervisor, of course, Marvell Collins, and I do believe it was Cassie Kopic.
All right. And then when you get back, whenever you were actually able to have contact with her, when she starts, I guess, texting you when you went to Mr. Nino's house, was it from the same phone number that you had before?
I don't know. I'm not for sure when I got that new phone number. I'm so sorry. I had several different phone numbers.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. She didn't have the same phone number throughout the case. You had a different phone number for her at some point.
Yes.
Okay. And does Bryson have any medical conditions, if you know?
No, ma'am, he does not.
And was Yasmin, if you know, was her visitation actually ever suspended, or she just wasn't exercising it?
She just wasn't exercising it.
And whenever you communicated with her in March, she wanted to get the services all set up. And did you send the 2054s at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
And you have any idea if she set any of those up?
No, she did not.
And when was it? I know that she went to the hospital with Mr. Nino. I think that was before the last time we had a hearing. Do you know what the date was?
Yes, I do. I'm so sorry. Let me get that for you. That was on. That was on June 16th. But he had went to the hospital, I believe, on June 14th.
Okay, so when you met with them at the hospital, is that when Mr. Nino said that she was living with him in the basement so she could be clean?
Yes.
And have you ever been inside of Mr. Nino's mother's house where he's staying in the basement?
I've been inside the home, but I have not been in the basement. No.
Was the home where you saw, was that appropriate for a child?
As far as I've seen, I've honestly only seen the living room of that home.
But you didn't have any concerns at that point, like that you would call in a report?
No, no.
Okay. And did he indicate to you how long she had been living with him in the basement?
No, he had not.
I pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Saint?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Legal, I'm a little confused. You stated to Ms. Wildman that both the parents stated that Jeffrey is the father of Bryson, yet earlier testimony was that Jeffrey has consistently stated that he's not sure he was the father. Are you saying he's told you that he was definitely the father?
Yes, I don't, I'm so sorry. I don't remember ever stating that, he didn't know if he was the father. He's consistently said through the case that he was the father.
And did you read the investigation report?
I have, but it's been a while since I've read the investigation report. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. Were you aware that he had stated that he wasn't even sure he was the father?
I had read that in the report on one part of it, but after finally being able to talk to him, when I first talked to him, and he did say to me that he was the father, but he was not going to work services, and that he was going to he just wanted Yasmin to raise the child. But he has never said that he was not the father.
And hasn't he stated that he wants a DNA test?
No, he has never told me he wanted the DNA test.
Okay. And are you aware that Ms. Marin has stated that there are other men that could possibly be the father?
No, she has never told me that. She's
She never stated that to you?
No.
Okay. Now, he has never been definitively established as the father, correct?
That is correct.
And in fact, there was a presumed father because Miss Marin was married.
That is correct.
And so at this point, he is the alleged father, correct?
I'm sorry. Nino
Sorry.
is,
Jeffrey.
yes, he is the alleged father.
Right.
Michael Reyes has been, did his DNA testing.
So we don't even know for sure that he is the father.
No, just by his admission of it.
And now the department has pled to terminate him as an alleged father as well. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay. And if someone is not the father, then they have no obligation to visit or do anything else, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. But an alleged father, and he's indicated that he does not want parental rights of this child, correct?
That is what he's told me, yes.
Okay. And has he ever wavered from that?
No. No, he has not.
When was the last time?
Not since I've had communication with him.
When was the last time you had any conversations with him?
When he was in the hospital in June, up until he was out. And I'm sorry, I left on the 24th, so my last 25th, my last communication with him was on the 23rd.
Okay. And were you at the previous hearings that were set for final?
Yes.
And so you haven't had any conversations with him since June, I think you said?
Yes.
And he's got some serious health problems, correct?
Yes, he does.
Okay. I mean, he could die of a heart attack at any time. In fact, he could have already died from a heart attack,
yes,
for all we know.
That's correct.
Have you had any contact with his mother or anything?
Not since I did. I believe June 16th was the last day I had any communication with his mom.
And have you ever spoken to any of Miss Marin's relatives?
Yes.
Have you spoken to them about any potential other potential fathers, boyfriends, anything like that?
I've visited with her mom. I've stayed in contact with her mom when I'm not able to be in contact with Yasmin. I call her to see if new phone numbers and stuff like that. And she's always stated that Jeffrey's the father also.
Okay, so she doesn't know of any other man that could possibly be the father?
No.
And you actually asked her that?
Yes, we've had conversations about that.
Okay, because the department has a duty to try to find any potential fathers, correct?
That is correct.
And the only thing we know for sure is that Mr. Reyes, is not the father, correct?
That's correct.
And Mr. Nino could possibly be the father, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And was there anybody else you spoke to or any other efforts taken to find out any other potential fathers?
No.
And you did, I think you testified earlier, maybe somebody did, that a paternity registry search was done?
I believe so.
Okay.
I might not know the correct answer on that. I'm sorry.
Okay. Would you normally do a paternity registry search?
Yes.
Okay. And if you had done one, would you have reviewed it?
Yes.
Okay. And if anybody was registered on there, would you have followed up and tried to find that person?
Yes, absolutely.
Have you ever in your work in CPS found a father registered on the paternity registry?
No.
Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
All right, Ms. Naranjo?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd ask the court to take judicial notice that a paternity registry search was filed on August 6th of 2025.
So noted.
Ms. Slagle, was Mr. Nino served in this case on May 8th of 2025?
Believe so.
And since then, has he filed with the court any admission of paternity or any counterclaims regarding paternity?
No.
I'll pass the witness.
All right. Anyone have follow-up questions for Ms. Slagle? All right, then. Ms. Wildman, any other witnesses?
No, the department would rest.
All right. Ms. Slagle, you testified to this, but just to be sure the record is clear, the presumed father, Michael Reyes, he did in fact paternity test and he was ruled out as the father, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. All right, then. Ms. Mullinax, do you have any witnesses?
No witnesses, Your Honor, rest.
Thank you. Mr. Saint?
No witnesses, Judge, rest.
Thank you. Ms. Naranjo, do you have witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Naranjo, then recommendations.
Your Honor, I do believe it's in the child's best interest that the department be named permanent managing conservator, that Ms. Marine's rights be terminated, that Mr. Nino as the alleged father be terminated upon, and that any unknown father be terminated upon.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right, then, based
Your
upon the
Honor,
evidence.
I'm sorry. Your Honor, I'm sorry to interrupt. You had appointed for me for Mr. Nino and for an unknown father. Can I give a report on that just to have it on the record?
Yeah, certainly.
Your Honor, based on the evidence presented today and the department's work, I think that that we've done what we can to determine if there's another potential father or not. So I think it's appropriate to terminate an unknown father. I also believe that Mr. Nino, as is an alleged father, I don't think they've presented enough to establish him as the father. I think that it's made it clear that he does not want to be the father if he is the father. And so I would say that it's appropriate and ask the court to terminate him as an alleged father. And then as him terminated as alleged and an unknown father being terminated, that would resolve all paternity issues. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Based on the evidence I've heard, as well as the exhibits that have been admitted, I do find that it's in the best interest of Bryson King Nino that the parental rights of the mother, Jasmine Marin, be terminated. I'll terminate those rights today based on Texas Family Code section 161.001, subsections B1D, E, N as in Nancy, and O. I further find that it's in the best interest of the child, Bryson King Nino, that the parental rights of the alleged father, Jeffrey Nino, and any unknown father be terminated. I'll terminate those rights today based on Texas Family Code section 161.002B3. Also, in finding that termination, I am relying on the paternity registry search that's on file, showing that no one has claimed paternity of Bryson, as well as I have reviewed the pleadings that are on file in this case, and Mr. Nino nor any unknown father ever filed an admission of paternity or a counterclaim for paternity. I will name the department permanent managing conservator. I'll continue Bryson's current placement. Ms. Naranjo and the Randall County Domestic Relations Office will be continued in this case. All other court-appointed relationships will be dismissed after all appellate and de novo periods have expired. We will have the first review hearing in this case on October 5th, 2026. Anyone that's still remaining in the case at that time can go on the court's online docket a day or two before October 5th to see what time that hearing will take place. That way you won't be sitting around in the waiting room. So, all right, this was our only case for the day. So we will stand in recess. Everybody have a good weekend.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank y'all. Amy, see you next week.
Yeah, you're gonna have Jody on Monday, but I'll see you on Wednesday.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.